Can you tell us a little bit about your career and your foundation?
My foundation was started because of my career. I've been a 29-year radio broadcaster doing morning radio in 9 different cities across America. Finally found home in Houston, Texas, where I've been for the last 15 years. My first year in Houston, I was broadcasting from Texas Children's Cancer Center, and I met a 15-year-old girl who was given a 10% chance to live another 6 months and see her 16th birthday. Being a non-parent myself, I don't have any children. I fell in love with her because her spirit was so bright, her strength was so positive, that she believed she was going to beat that diagnosis. And so my wife and I started a nonprofit organization for Chelsea's 16th birthday.
Why did you choose to go into radio?
2 reasons why I chose to go into radio. They both have to do with school. I was being groomed by my dad to be a professional baseball player. I showed some aptitude on the baseball stadium, on the baseball diamond, and any kid who shows aptitude, their dad automatically thinks they're going to be a pro. 7th grade, I had a teacher tell me, I'm sure you're going to be a pro baseball player, but just in case it doesn't work out, you might want to think about a secondary career. Woke up freshman day at Oakville High School, turned on the radio at 5:55, and I heard J.C. Corcoran from KC95 come on and say, I don't want to be here today, folks. I really don't. Well, I was like, man, you know what? I really don't want to go to a new school and meet new people today. I really don't. So I stayed in bed and listened to his whole show, and I said, okay, if baseball doesn't work out, that's what I want to do with my life. Then, having that, I decided to take mass communications in 10th grade at Oakville High School with my favorite and greatest teacher ever, Dave Robin. He was, I don't know if Dave is still coaching or teaching there, but he was the varsity soccer coach too. But we walked into Robe's class that day, and we looked at the textbook, and he said, you can put that away. We're going to learn mass communications and composition by dissecting the lyrics of the Talking Heads and the Doors and Bob Marley. That's where my love of music came from. So Oakville Senior High School put me on my path to being a professional broadcaster.
What does it mean to you to be inducted into the Hall of Fame?
It's a really hard question. What does it mean to be inducted into the High School Hall of Fame? I was talking to my wife on our flight in from Houston, and I said, I just can't believe there are 13 people from 2 different schools with enrollments every year over 1,400 students. We're one of the 13 that are going in, and it's overwhelming, number one. It's very humbling, number 2, but it energizes me that even people outside of our circle are realizing what a difference Snowdrop Foundation is making in the lives of pediatric cancer patients, and what a blessing it's been for me to be able to spend 29 years in radio and be able to do and have the impact that I'm able to have through my platform on the radio with pediatric cancer.
So can you just talk a little bit about your run you're going to be doing in Alaska?
Just a little bit, Eva? Let's see, I've been consumed with this project for 7 years. 7 years ago, I started talking to my wife about the dream run. The dream run has always been to end at the top of the world. We thought when we were doing the dream run that it would be in June because that's when Chelsea's birthday is, and that's when Snowdrop Foundation was born. The less and less we talked about it, the closer and closer it got to my 50th birthday. And 2 years ago, I casually said, Trish, why don't we just make the dream run my birthday run? She says, you realize that it's going to be bitter cold then. I'm like, yeah, well, think about it. Everything we ever do with Snowdrop mirrors pediatric cancer, whether realistic or symbolic. And so we decided 2 years ago that we were going to start planning Delivering Hope, a 302-mile run on the Dalton Highway from the Arctic Circle sign to the edge of the Arctic Ocean, the northernmost miles of the Ice Road Trucker Road. It's never been done before. Nobody's ever attempted it. We've been told it's called a suicide mission, but that's exactly what we wanted. We want to show the isolation that kids with cancer go through. When they take their first dose of chemotherapy, their depleted immune system forces them to be removed from school. If they're lucky, they get to stay at home. If they're not, they spend a lot of time in the hospital. Well, 240 of the 300 miles we run have no service, no gas station, no hotel, no restaurant, no hospital, no cell phone service, no emergency services. We are on our own. Then the hostility of the chemotherapy attacks even healthy organs, but it burns the insides and outsides of patients. We know that the outside forecast is for -20, -15 degree Fahrenheit days when we're up there running. Well, if I don't dress properly, that's a hostile environment for me. Throw in the fact that we could see polar bears, moose, Arctic fox, wolves, or caribou that could chase us, that's a hostile environment. We know kids that with retinoblastoma, you lose an eye. With osteosarcoma, you're lucky if you don't lose a limb, but you will lose a bone. If I don't dress properly in those temperatures, I'll lose a finger, a toe, an earlobe, a nose. Even though there's a 90% cure rate for acute lymphoblastic leukemia, what if you're that 10th family and your kid doesn't make it? We face avalanches. We're going to be sharing the road 21 hours of darkness with 250 18-wheelers. We're going to be in negative 20-degree weather for 20 hours a day. There's no guarantee we're living through this. We might be one of those 90% statistics, but we have to put ourselves in that position to accurately portray the dangers that is fighting pediatric cancer. So with all of those dangers and with all of those hindrances, why has this been my dream run? Because I'm going to take a backpack now full of 2,000 names of kids who have fought pediatric cancer, and I'm going to carry it on my back from the Arctic Circle to the edge of the Arctic Ocean, the top of the world, which is how they feel when they finish their treatment. It's called Delivering Hope. We're calling it Delivering Hope for 4 reasons. Number 1, the run ends at the United States Postal Service office in Dead Horse, Alaska. The United States Postal Service office delivers. We hope to raise over $200,000 to deliver the hope of, if not a cure, at least a better treatment. We also hope that as we became the first person in history to ever do something that was told impossible, so too can kids defy the odds and do the impossible and beat their cancer no matter what their diagnosis. And then the final component of Delivering Hope, the run ends Sunday, November 24th at 8:05 a.m. Central Time, the exact moment I turn 50, which is the birthday boy delivering the gift of hope, courage, and love instead of the birthday boy getting the gifts. So a lot of planning went into this.
That's amazing.
Thanks.
How has the Oakville community helped you get to the point where you're at now?
You know what's crazy is that through the advent of social media, I'm friends now with more people than I was friends with actually in high school. You know, because in high school you have to physically be in contact with that person. Now with social media, your reach is much more extensive. It's much further. If I didn't know somebody from the class of 1986 being in school with them, I know them now through Facebook and through our connection with Oakville High School. So it's my classmates who were responsible for nominating me to be in the Oakville Mehlville Alumni Association Hall of Fame, but it's also the classmates who have had children with pediatric cancer reach out to me and say, will you run for my son? Will you run for Jack? Will you run for and that's overwhelming to know that my classmates are counting on me to carry on the legacy that their child has had to fight. So it has furthered our cause. It has created a much more awareness, and it's really put a lot more personal pressure on me to want to help my classmates from 35 years ago.